I'm Archie, Casity, retired Air Force. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a mission we had in Southeast Asia called Blind Bat. The mission started primarily because the North Koreans had a lot of arms, possibly from Russia, but they had to get them down south. They couldn't get them to the DNZ, so they came through Laos, East Laos, and Ho Chi Minh Trail. And it was a night mission, and we were after the trucks to stop this. The gunships did a good job, but they needed some help, so we went over and had some briefings and rules of war, what we could do and what we couldn't do, and learned to be forward controllers. We augmented our crew with another navigator and 2 more loadmasters, because in this particular mission, we had a navigator sitting in a right rear door with a night scope called a star scope, and another nav to navigate. We flew normally, an early mission. We started off at dawn and flew about 6 hours, and then the following day we took off and flew another 6 hours until daylight. Well, our mission was to get trucks. So we would go out and we'd maintain at least 5,000 feet, because anything below there, you got a lot of gunfire. Above 5 was fine. The only problem we had was near the targets, there were a lot of 37 millimeter and larger weapons, but they usually mostly 37 millimeters. Aircraft we used to put strikes in were fighter bombers that come off the carriers, the Navy would, and our fighter bombers. But they had a limitation on how long they could lauder. They were good pilots, but our favorite people were the guys that flew the old B-26Ks called Nimrods, and we had another aircraft, it's a twin British aircraft, it's a B-57. They called them Yellowbirds. They could stay with you. They had good ordnance. We had napalm and cluster bombs, a lot of good things that you don't want to use, but you have to. But we would we would circle to the right due to where the nod was located, and so we can find targets. And we were limited. We were not supposed to hit any villages, and we were not supposed to get off the road more than 200 meters on either side. We didn't want to injure civilians, since Laos was a neutral country, but I know we had people there because we did carry flares, about 850, and I only had to use them one time, and we had to go and light up the area they were in. They would light off about 4,000 feet and keep it lit up, but we dropped what we call a log. It was a good marker. It would burn about 45 minutes, and we'd normally, when we found a target, we would drop a couple seconds or two apart. That really made a very good target for our attack aircraft. We could tell them where they hit the trucks at, and it worked out quite well. It helped a lot. It didn't do everything, but it helped a lot, and we were very fortunate. We only lost 1 crew that I know of, and while we were there, although I don't think they were very good. I think they were shooting at the sound a lot. We were black aircraft, lit up on top quite well. I think that helped a lot. But we did lose 1 crew, unfortunately, but that was it. And we had some damage, but it looked like there's a lot of stuff coming up at you, and you could sure tell because of the larger the caliber, the slower it came up. But it was mostly 37 millimeter, but they were bad shots. But it looked pretty close sometimes. You're only seeing 1 shell out of the 4. But that's about what happened. It did do some good, but we did that for 3 months at a time. And then it only lasted about a year, then they decided to do something else. But that's about it. We worked with those people.
Okay.
In fact, my ops officer was a friend of mine, but we were 130s.
Just a regular 130.
Yeah, 130s.
But
But
not.
we rigged up the. I should have mentioned there. I'm sorry, I didn't mention.
Oh, it's okay. We can
But,
take care of that.
But they had the same thing going up north in Laos. It was using 123s.
Oh, okay.
We worked with the gunships, and they did pretty well. But unfortunately, later on, they lost a lot of planes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
But they did help. But we worked hard. We worked one day and back the next day. But we do that for 3 months.
Did you ever encounter any SAM missiles?
I only saw one that
Okay.
got close to me. We had we call it a rivet machine. It would make it go crazy. They got us. But of course, when a lot of them are coming up, you can't make them all go crazy.
Right. Now, were you the pilot or the co-pilot or the navigator?
I was aircraft. I was an instructor.
You were a pilot.
I was an instructor pilot.
Okay.
I was a pilot, and I'm thinking about what we did. Of course, I flew a lot over there in 135s before that, refueling. We actually flew out of Bangkok for a while until we opened up Utapao.
Mm-hmm.
But we flew primarily fighter refuelers. Unfortunately, you'd take in 4 planes going to Hanoi, and maybe 2 would come out.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they'd come up shot up pretty bad.
Yeah.
And we were not supposed to go in North Vietnam, but I did go there a couple of times.
But you didn't encounter any SAM missiles?
No,
when you
because
went up there?
what happened, these guys were leaking fuel pretty bad, and I push up to about 9-2 and make a turn, he'd be right getting his fuel.
Oh.
And I drug him all the way back to a base.
No.
I did a lot of that.
Did y'all have any armament at all?
Pardon?
Did y'all have any armament at all? Any?
No, on 135, no, we didn't have
Okay.
anything.
No.
We just had, when we
You
fly,
were just a spotter.
yeah, on that particular mission. Our normal mission is in Vietnam. We flew out of Cam Ranh Bay and Saigon.
Were
And
you
we
a spotter
flew-
then too?
We flew normally 4 to 5 sorties a day. There, we had a 12-hour daily, first in, first out, and we flew, and then we flew all night, and then we got a day off.
No.
But went over there, and we flew an awful lot. And it's kind of bad because the runways are if you call them runways, they're very narrow. Maybe 60 foot wide or so. Our wings were sticking out quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
You
Do
had
you have
to-
any thrusters on that C-130?
Pardon?
Do you have any thrusters?
We didn't use them. We had
Okay.
them, we didn't use them.
Oh, you didn't use them. Okay.
We didn't need them because we came out light. We went in heavy. But the runways are very narrow, like a 60 foot wide, taxiway 75 foot wide. And that's just the way it worked.
Hmm.
But we had a lot of missions. I did a lot of flying.
Did you fly any out of Da Nang?
Yeah, we had the missions out of Da Nang. That's one of the bigger fields. When we flew all night, we'd go into Da Nang. We could get in Cam Ranh Bay, Saigon, Bien Hoa, Da Nang, and play coup at nighttime. They had lights. Everything else had no lights.
Oh.
Unless it was an emergency, they put out pods where we
Yeah, fire pots.
It's hard because the runways I used to go in 2,400 foot, not very long. and then most of them are real short, and then we're not level. They had humps in them.
Yeah.
And if you don't have humps, you're going to bounce. And you don't want to go around because you get shot down. What we'd kept at altitude, and I'd go over the field at 5,000 feet and make my approach very steep. You had negative torque on a 130, but you put too much pressure, it would decouple, and you're in trouble. You had to feather the engine, it wouldn't work. We didn't have boards like a 135, you could go steep.
Oh.
So, but we were very steep approach, right on it, and you got pretty good. You made a lot of landings.
Make a nosedive and then pull up at the last minute.
It was like a nosedive. It was very steep. I mean, it took off. It was very steep. I mean,
What was the maximum speed of the 130?
we only cruised about 290.
No,
It wasn't that
not much at
fast.
all. 290 at 4,000 feet, huh?
It was a good airplane. I mean, 130 was. We spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia. I say, went over there a lot, TDY. We'd ferry the planes across the ocean, of course, you know.
Yeah.
And
But you didn't have to land on a carrier anyway.
No, I didn't do that. Some of the aircraft you could run the wind weather, and some you had to have good weather. But we had a speed. We formatted a speed because each aircraft had a different speed. A bomber could go in slower because it had a big wing. And if other aircraft, we had a different speed for each aircraft, which maybe 315, 320 knots to get fuel. That's just the way we worked.
But you didn't have any AWACS above you at that time, did you? They came in later, didn't they?
I know, yeah, we had, what do you call that darn airplane? What it was, just come on and take pictures all the time. They couldn't touch me so high.
Oh, you're talking about the Blackbirds.
Yeah, the Blackbirds. Anyway, we had AWACS, so, but we had where I was stationed at Naha, we had a 106 wing there.
Oh.
And, we stayed busy.
Sounds like it.
We did very few little flying other. I did go to Singapore and some places in Tokyo, but all our flying was just about in Vietnam.
Did you have any trouble getting fuel or ammunition or anything, or flares or anything that you were dropping? Was your supplies low? Did you ever have any time that you had low supplies?
We had plenty of that in Thailand.
Okay.
Because the Navy had a base on it, Utapao, where the Air Force had. We had plenty of stuff in Thailand. Where we had a problem with fuel, we had a bladder. We used to put in a 130 and probably put in 25,000 pounds of fuel and do it all day long and took it in the field in Vietnam for the helicopters. They had a big pot with the fuel in. We did it all day long to fill those things up. It was unusual.
Yeah, it was unusual. But where was that being done at? Mostly Cameron Bay, or?
Oh no, we could haul probably out of Saigon, at Tan Son Nhut. We kept our planes in we had places we fixed where they dropped the bomb and nobody do damage to it. They localized the damage. And we never, Benoit, we got mortared a lot, and rocket stoned us a lot. We got shelled that quite a bit.
Mortars and rockets?
Yeah, the only problem we had, we didn't, our artillery, no problem with artillery in the South, except our own. We didn't know where they ran. But they used to mortar you a lot and rocket you. When they get you on the ground, I've had them hit in front of me on the runway. I just kept right on going. So they got the bad guys away and then come in the land. But it was interesting.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
I've heard a lot of stories. It sounds like a lot, but when you're flying 4 or 5 a day, it counts up
Yeah,
in
a
a couple
long
of years.
time, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day.
And then when you do that for a couple of years, you know.
How long were you over there?
2.5 years. And I was over there before then, TDY, up to 6 months at a time. Flying out of Kadena and out of